I will not fight this fucking guy. He's a fucking
But I
monster,
respect it though because
I'm
he's
just
very
gonna fucking die, bro.
I can't. This is the first time. Hold on. This is the first time I've ever heard you say any of this.
I know my boundaries.
Jake Paul is reportedly feeling the heat as Anthony Joshua unleashes terrifying training sessions ahead of his next fight. The YouTuber-turned-boxer can't hide his nerves watching AJ's raw power and ruthless preparation. Whispers of a showdown between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua have exploded into full-blown speculation.
Jake Paul's manager here last week and he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, you know, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nikisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridgie, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has dubbed Paul a massive front-runner and confirms that serious discussions are underway with both camps eyeing early 2026 for the clash. Anthony Joshua, a seasoned heavyweight champion, has consistently demonstrated his commitment to excellence through rigorous training sessions. His regimen includes intense strength and conditioning workouts, sparring sessions with top-tier opponents, and a focus on both physical and mental preparation.
Where's AJ for you right now?
I think he's an icon.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever met AJ, I would be starstruck. I remember being in New York City, my cousin's stag do, which would have been 2017, and he beat Klitschko.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, the bar erupts. It was amazing, right? That was peak.
Peak AJ.
History will be kind to AJ, I think, in terms of where he ranks.
History will be kind if he doesn't lose a couple more big ones. Because I know everyone's just got microwave memories where they just remember now.
Like, he's nowhere near to say Lennox Lewis, is he?
No.
But in terms of what he carried, nobody can sell an arena.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's
like, he's up there with like stars of other, like, sports. He can be compared to Oasis for selling tickets.
Yeah, he'll fill a stadium.
Yeah, like
there was a time when I thought he could fight me and fill a stadium.
This
like,
is what I was just about to say, that irrespective of the opposition.
Doesn't matter.
Like, irrespective. And he will never, nobody, I don't know, Daniel Dubois will never ever have that presence that AJ has.
Joshua has consistently demonstrated his commitment to facing top-tier opponents, notably stepping into the ring with Alexander Usyk, a former undisputed cruiserweight champion and a formidable force in the heavyweight division. Their first encounter in September 2021 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium saw Usyk clinch a unanimous decision victory, outpointing Joshua with superior technique and precision.
Once the belts were finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win, it just kind of tore me apart. And that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course. But at the time, that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in.
Yeah.
Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in?
It wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of like fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead of the game. While
Paul has showcased commendable athleticism and a strong work ethic, his experience in the ring pales in comparison to that of seasoned professionals like Joshua. Paul's training sessions, though intense, have primarily focused on building endurance and refining basic boxing technique.
Do you consider Jake Paul a fighter?
No.
Still not?
Wow, really? We're also like punch each other and like elbow, like he was on the ground, I was like kneeing him in the face. Like,
so you get fighting your sibling to a whole nother level.
Training wrestling is so hard.
Yeah.
Dana has always been close to my family because of my dad. Then he's like texting Daniel Cormier and like, hey, like, Bellew needs to go to college, where should you go? I was literally cage side sitting next to Dana. The arena, like I literally like get goosebumps sometimes, like thinking of it. I've never heard an arena so loud. Like my last fight, I broke the girl's arm in the first round, like minute something, complete snap, like ripped every ligament in her elbow.
I want professional boxers. It's only been 3.5 years. You can only make a certain amount of fights happen. And the plan was always to fight Nate Diaz after Tommy Fury, win, lose, or draw. People think there's like this ducking of professional boxers. The next fight could potentially be a professional boxer. I'm just getting started. I'm 26 years old, and there's only so much I can do.
Boxing analysts and experts have widely criticized the proposed fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, deeming it a dangerous mismatch. Prominent figures like Eddie Hearn have warned that the bout poses significant risks to Paul given the vast disparity in experience and skill between the two fighters. Hearn emphasized that Joshua's elite punching power and extensive professional background make him a formidable opponent, and facing him could be perilous for Paul.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, like, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on.
The buzz around a potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul clash has left boxing pundits fuming, calling it reckless, foolish, and a step into the extreme. Analysts argue that the fight's mismatch in experience and power isn't just imprudent but also borders on irresponsible. While the commercial allure is undeniable, the health and credibility risks for Paul loom large, making the match feel like a thrill-seeking gamble rather than a legitimate sport.
Well, I've got you, Billy. There's talks, obviously you're from a traditional side of boxing, there's talks of maybe an Anthony Joshua-Jake Paul matchup. What do you make of that?
Joke. It's just money in it. It's just for money. Because he'll get absolutely pulverised by Big Joshua. Pulverised.
Tony Bellew, ever the outspoken voice in boxing, fired back at the showdown between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, calling it absolutely dangerously insane. He voiced serious concern over the mismatch in size and experience, warning that it's more of a spectacle than a legitimate challenge. Bellew went further, suggesting a more credible and safer alternative for Joshua would be a bout with Canelo Alvarez, drawing his discomfort for even entertaining the idea of Paul as a worthy opponent.
This is another level. This is a really dangerous. He ain't fighting a granddad. He isn't fighting a grandfather. It's absolute lunacy. It's insane. It's dangerously insane. Is right. And I never thought I'd say that in my lifetime, but as he says some crazy shit. But he probably could knock him out with his bell end. It's just a gross mismatch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand his health is in jeopardy. So I'm not even entertaining it. I just think it's dangerous. And listen, I might have to work it, but it's just...
It's kind of ludicrous, isn't it, really?
It's insane. This boy is nuts. Is nuts. And I think he's putting his life before he's putting his life before money.
Yeah, it's
putting money before his
crazy.
life, which is just absolutely insane.
Bellew has consistently criticized Jake Paul for his approach to boxing, particularly his celebrity-driven antics. He has warned that such behavior could backfire, potentially leading to serious harm in the ring. Bellew emphasized that boxing is a dangerous sport and that treating it like entertainment could have dire consequences. He also expressed concern over the trend of celebrity and YouTuber fights, suggesting that it could harm the reputation of boxing if things go wrong.
Jake's not putting on no one because it would end immediately right then and then. The other claim to fame is slapping the shit out of your trainer. But I'm not going to be disrespected by anyone, especially a young child. I don't want no problems. But if you've got a problem, then no problem.
Joe Rogan has consistently lauded Joshua for his exceptional physique and athleticism on his podcast. Rogan has remarked that Joshua possesses a superhero-like build, highlighting his impressive physical attributes and strength. Rogan's admiration underscores the dedication Joshua has shown in maintaining peak physical condition, which has contributed to his success in the boxing ring.
Like boxers today, if you look at like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is he?
You look at him, yeah, he's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean,
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do today. They did? Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and they're monitoring lactic acid buildup and.
Frank Smith, CEO of Matchroom Boxing, has stirred controversy by asserting that a potential fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul could surpass the anticipated Joshua vs. Tyson Fury bout in global appeal. He emphasized that in today's landscape the commercial draw of Joshua vs. Paul is unparalleled, while acknowledging the unusual nature of the matchup. Smith confirmed that serious discussions are ongoing with both camps, considering a 2026 showdown.
Jake Paul does feel a bit random, Frank, doesn't it? With everything else that's going on in the fight game, I know that he's had some. He's been upping his game, getting some better opponents, and he's got a world ranking and all that. But I don't know. It's. I mean, I think there's other fights out there for AJ, aren't there? Really, with that feel a better fit than Jake Paul at this moment in time.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. It is random, but at the same time, it's the biggest fight out there. It's bigger. The reality is Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul on a global scale is bigger than Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. And that's the world we live in right now. But the Tyson Fury fight is also a huge fight.
This revelation has ignited debates within the boxing community, with some questioning the sporting integrity of such a clash, while others are intrigued by its potential to captivate a global audience.
It gets my goat. What is bigger, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? And for me, it's absolutely clear what's bigger. It's Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, I think... you might throw to some Frank Smith comments in a minute, but Matchroom's Frank Smith. But that fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua. Really, in my view, it's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area level fighter, a British area level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute.
Tom Aspinall, the UFC interim heavyweight champion, has candidly addressed the allure of fighting Jake Paul, attributing it primarily to the substantial financial incentives. In a recent interview, Aspinall acknowledged that many fighters are drawn to the prospect of facing Paul due to the lucrative paydays associated with such bouts.
Who's the greatest of all time in boxing?
Boxing?
Heavyweight.
Me.
I agree. I mean, like, do you get upset when they start throwing other names?
Listen, all right, I'm not being egotistical, okay? They said they know. If you put up some statistics or something, ask the world. Not one guy, 10 guys, ask the world.
Watching Netflix on Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yes, I was. But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best luck to them. Congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight. It was a tip and tap. Don't hit me, I won't hit you. Circle the ring a little bit. Make it look good. That's all it was. So I don't really make too much of it.
Jake Paul's tendency to call out legendary fighters has frustrated many boxing fans. Critics argue that Paul is not a serious boxer and that his callouts are more about gaining attention than proving himself in the sport. Paul has also mentioned wanting to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. However, there is a significant weight difference between the two fighters. Davis is a lightweight while Paul competes at a much heavier weight class. If Paul were to take on Davis, he would need to cut a considerable amount of weight, which could complicate his ability to move back up in size to face Joshua later.
Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight, until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.